Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the man with the annoying voice. I'm the Viper, and I'm back for episode 2 of my League of Legends World Championship Series preview. Before I get started, once again, apologies for any noise, and I'm always open to any feedback, so if you guys want to put that in the comment below or put it in the Reddit thread, please feel free to do so. This episode we're going to be talking about CounterLogic Gaming, the first seed coming out of North America and heading into this year's World Championship. The roster is Zion Spartan in the top lane, far left in the photo, Xmithy in the jungle, second from the right, Belter in the mid lane, far right, double-lifted AD carry, dead center, and Aframu as the support, of course second from the left. Now, CLG as a team, they're characterized by mechanically strong laners. Doublelift and Aframu are frequently talked about in the discussion for best AD carry support duo in North America and the West. And Zion Spartan and Belter are regarded as one of the top players for their positions, top lane and mid lane respectively, in North America as well. Great. Now let's get into CLG's history. Their first roster, when they first formed, had Hotshot GG in the top lane, Kobe in the jungle, Big Fat LP in the mid lane, Chester at AD carry, and Elements as the support. That's a very different roster from the CLG that you see today. The team with that roster won World Cyber Games, or WCG, in 2010, and placed 5th at the Season 1 World Championship. The only difference is Saint as the jungle instead of good old Riot Kobe. At IM Cologne and MLG Raleigh, they both won those. Those were both in 2011, so the team is already building up a solid record of performances on land. They continue that record throughout 2011 by placing 2nd at IM Guangzhou. I hope I didn't butcher that, by the way. I'm incredibly sorry if I did. They went on to place 3rd at IPL 3 and then 4th at IM New York. Now, at the end of 2011, that's when we really get our first big roster change, which is Elements, who was their support at the time, left, Chester became the new support, and then Doublelift became the AD carry. After Doublelift joined, the team still built up a solid record on LAN, but they didn't have the titles that they had in 2010 with WCG and the IM and the MLG. So with Doublelift, they finished 3rd at the IM World Championship, or IM Hanover, and the very next month they competed in Azubu the Champions Spring, going all the way from NA to Korea to compete. They went on to place top 8 at Champions Spring 2012, losing only to Blaze, who of course went on to win that tournament. And after Champions, CLG comes back to NA and finishes 2nd at IPL 4. After IPL 4, we get another roster change. St. Vicious leaves, Hotshot GG moves into the jungle to replace him, and then we have Voyboy, who becomes the new top laner. But the next tournament, Voyboy isn't the top laner. They instead play a sub who goes by the name of X Hazard, and with that sub, they finished 2nd at MLG Anaheim. After MLG, Voyboy comes back, and CLG goes back to Korea for Azubu Champions Summer 2012, where they finish top 8 again, and again lose to the eventual winners of the tournament, and this time it was not CJ, they would become CJ, it was Azubu Frost. After Champions Summer, they head on to the Season 2 World Championship, where they face 9th, which is very uncharacteristic of their previous tournament wins, okay. After Champions Summer, the team goes on to the Season 2 World Championship, where they place 9th in the entire tournament, not making it to the quarterfinals, which is somewhat disappointing for the team, especially when you consider the record that they had built up on LAN. Before that, their previous worst performance was getting top 8 at Azubu Champions, which of course is nothing to scoff at. So after the Season 2 World Championships, we get even more roster changes. Voyboy leaves, Hachachiji moves back to the top lane to replace Voyboy, Chowster, who's now their support, moves into the jungle, and then Loco joins as the support. And Loco played for CLG for basically 2 LANs, MLG Dallas and IPL 5, where CLG placed 4th and 5th respectively. After that short little run before Season 3, Loco heads back to Korea, and in Season 3 we get the start of the LCS with, instead of Loco being the support, we have now Aframu, who is of course CLG's current support, and instead of Big Fat LP in the mid lane, we have now Link. Now before I get into what the team did in Season 3, which was basically only the LCS results, I want to get into what exactly the LCS changed in terms of... I want to get into what exactly the LCS changed when it comes to the esports scene, especially in North America and Europe. So let's say you are Hachachiji, owner, founder, and captain of Counterlogic Gaming in Season 2, and you want to grow the brand as much as possible by attending as many LANs as possible, get as much exposure, trying to win a lot of prize money, and trying to prove that you are the best team in the world. At the same time, you have to balance the players' health and well-being. You don't want them getting too burnt out, losing passion for the game by playing so much. And you also don't want them to get jet lag from traveling all around the world. Sometimes you get lucky and you're able to travel to an event, play, come back, and adjust to the time zone before flying out to your next event, getting a bit of a reset in between. But sometimes you end up with crazy travel schedules where you have to go from China to Atlantic City to New York all in 2 weeks and still maintain a high level of League of Legends. It's not very good. So in Season 3, Riot decided that, okay, instead of these weekly tournaments, not exactly weekly, there would be some breaks in between tournaments depending of course on what the organizers felt would be a good weekend. So instead of tournaments that took place on a weekend, add a Friday in or add a Monday in or something like that, Riot said, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to institute a league. And that league is going to be basically the teams can stay in NA and they can stay in one place and they can compete every single week. It's going to be good for the teams because they don't have to travel. They get to spend the entire week practicing for their matches. And it's going to be good for the viewers because we provide a regularly scheduled broadcast, I should say, for the fans to enjoy. Pretty bad for the team, especially consider the record they've had before. Luckily enough, they were able to 3-0 their relegations opponent and re-qualify for the 2013 LCS Summer, but not without the roster changes. So this time, Aframu leaves as the support, Chowster moves as the support to sub in, so that leaves jungle open. Big Fat LP, who is their former mid laner, now comes in as the jungler, and Hachachiji steps down from the top lane and is now replaced by Nian Tanso, or Nian. So the roster going into the summer season is Nian, Big Fat LP, Link, Doublelift, Chowster going from top lane to support respectively. In the LCS summer split, they finished 5th place, so slightly worse than before, but they're able to keep their LCS spot this time by beating Curse 2-0. Unfortunately though, that means they did miss out on the World Championship. But between the World Championship and the 2014 season, there are yet even more roster changes coming in for Counterlogic Gaming. After Worlds, but before the 2014 spring split of the LCS, we do not have Big Fat LP in the jungle anymore. He's going to step down, and instead for this tournament, I Am Cologne, we have Trix as the jungler. And Aframu coming back to the support as Chowster steps down from his role. But getting back to their jungler Trix, now this was a very short time Trix was on the team. He only competes really with CLG for this tournament, and after that, CLG signs a new jungler, Dexter, coming all the way from Europe to play for CLG during the 2014 spring split. but there are some visa issues and he's not there the full season, so CLG doesn't do as good as they would have liked, but they are still able to this time place third coming out of the regular season and into the playoffs. And they finished third in the playoffs as well. Now, after the 2014 spring season, there's yet another roster change. This time, Nian's going to step down and he's going to be replaced by Seraph during the summer season. And despite the fact that they brought in new talent, fresh blood, and they were favorites to do well in the playoffs that season, they ended up getting relegated by losing not only their quarterfinal match, but also the 5th place match. So CLG has to go down to relegations to qualify for this 2015 season. They barely end up beating Curse Academy 3-2, which, by the way, if I get this video out soon enough, September 9th, it will be the anniversary of CLG winning that series against Cursed Academies and requalifying for the LCS. Now, after CLG requalifies, Dexter and Seraph will part ways with the team, and that means that CLG would have to find a new top laner and a new jungler for IM Cologne, which is normally after Worlds and before the next season. This time it was Season 4 Worlds that preceded it. CLG had Zion Spartan just newly added to their roster, so you can sort of see the roster slowly build up over time to what we have today. First it was Doublelift, then it's Aframu, then it's Zion Spartan. Not Xmithy yet. The jungler for this tournament was ThinkCard, and Link was still the mid at IM Cologne. So they finished second at that, only losing out to Gambit, who Gambit of course has a really good record at IEM for some reason. But after IM Cologne, the 2015 spring season starts, Xmithy's going to join the roster, and they are going to finish third in the regular season, but lose their quarterfinal match to Team Liquid. Now that loss against Team Liquid is going to prompt Link to leave, so CLG is going to add on 2 mid laners, the first being Pobelter, and the second being Huhi, who is a sub and hasn't really played too much for the team. But the main point is, 2015 summer, we now have the roster in its final form, as you can see in the photo, and that's when they really start to deliver. They finish second in the round robin, they get to their quarterfinal match with a bye, they're able to sweep Team Impulse, and then they sweep TSM, who had overcome them in all previous LCS seasons, to win the title. And that's where we stand with CLG's history so far. If you're new to the team, well, you are now caught up, and let's get into the team's players before I part ways and start with my next video, which is going to be Fnatic. Just shh, I didn't tell you that, just so you know. I mentioned before that CLG has very mechanically strong laners, Doublelift Aframu, a very good bot lane, Zion a very good top lane, and Pobelter a very good mid lane. Now that frees up Xmithy to gank wherever he pleases because he has threats who can carry from all 3 lanes. Before, that wasn't exactly the case for CLG. The top laner whoever the top laner was at the time, was there to sort of draw attention away from Doublelift, who has always been a good AD carry. And so the top laner would get camped or something like that, and the jungler for CLG would camp the bottom lane, but teams knew that the jungler would be camping the bottom lane and play conservatively, so Doublelift couldn't exactly get too far ahead in lane and snowball the game. That's all changed now, because Zion can carry some games, Pobelter can carry some games, and the Rush Hour bot lane can carry some games. Going down the roster, Zion Spartan, I said before, he's a carry top laner. He likes to play a lot of Gnar, and recently in the playoffs he's been playing some Fizz and some Olaf and 1 game on Yasuo. So look out for those champions. That's what he's played recently. We'll see if he sticks to that trend coming into the World Championship. Xmithy in the jungle, he's played a lot of Echo, played a lot of Gragas, played a little bit of like other junglers, Eve, Rek'Sai, Nautilus. That's sort of his champion pool. Pobelter, he plays a lot of Victor, he'll play some Orianna, he'll play some TF, Ezreal, Azir, those kinds of things. Doublelift, the famous AD carry. In the past, he was known for his Vayne being a hyper carry. He still plays hyper carries in the form of Tristana and Jinx, but they aren't as reliant to carry. They bring more to the team. Tristana can really fast push down a tower. CLG loves to do this, where they'll put Doublelift in an empty lane, or they'll put Doublelift in an advantageous lane, he'll take down the tower, and then CLG will rotate around the map, take down all the towers, and then from there, get vision in the enemy jungle, set up dragons, set up barons, and from there they win the game. They also have him for some games on Ashe, where he can engage for the team. Ashe is just a very flavor of the month pick. So that's what you should look out for Doublelift. And finally, Aphromoo can pretty much play almost anything. He'll come out with a Bard pick every once in a while. He'll play Thresh, Braum, Nautilus, Morgana, has some games on Nami, has some games on Blitzcrank even, going all the way back to the Spring Split. He's probably going to play what fits best in the team comp and what's probably going to be the best supports at the moment, with the occasional Bard pick if he wants to do that. So that's the team's style, the team's history, and a little bit of an overview on the players. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give me some indication if you want the series to continue. Vote for the next team. I don't know where else to continue. But yeah, thanks for listening this far, and I guess I'll catch you with my next video, which is gonna be Fnatic if you didn't know. But don't tell anyone. I'll see you then. Bye.